Yes, sir. Please let the record show that Chairman Sean Poole is absent this evening. Member Lori Simpson.
Here.
Member Claudia Smith.
Here.
Member Randy Stout.
Here.
Member Bob Breedlove.
Here.
Please let the record show that Member Phyllis Gray is also absent.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from October 19th?
So move.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the minutes have been approved from October 19th. Are there any announcements? There are no announcements. The only thing I see on the agenda for council business is a request for annexation by Billy and Diane Wright at 8627 Milo Lane. We have Mr. and Mrs. Wright here?
Mr. Wright is here.
Okay. I think we gotta start with, you can fill us in on what you got going on here.
Well, we own 3 lots down here that are kind of in an L shape. We got 1, 2, 3 lots, and then we just purchased the 4th lot. Okay. And before I bought the property, the 3 lots were at some time annexed into the city. So now I've got 3 lots in the city and 1 that's still in Pasco County. So I'd like to just annex that 4th lot, making it all contiguous there. And then I guess at some point I may have to try to make it all one parcel too, but that's really what I wanna do, because I really can't do anything on that property because I've got 1 in the city and 1 in the county. So that's basically all we wanna do.
I guess the only question I have, are there any neighbors that are here, or?
I don't know. Your neighbor? I guess not. It's not really a very populated neighborhood. It's
Right.
mostly commercial, and then there's some people that have been there forever, you know, but I don't know of anybody that I think would object to it anyway.
Right. And just looking through the papers real quick, it looks like there's already City of Port Richey water on the property, the one to be annexed. Did I read that
You
right?
know, I honestly don't know if it's the city of Port Richey. It could be. It's right there. It does have, you know, water.
Is there any building or anything on that lot, or is it
No,
just?
when I bought it, there was a mobile home. The man had been in prison. I mean, it was just like a death trap.
Mhm.
He got out of prison for a while, and he was staying there with no power or anything. I don't know how he did it.
Right.
But, so I finally managed to purchase it from him, and so as soon as I did, we had the whole thing demolished, you know, so it's a nice, pretty clean lot now, but it was awful what was there before, you know. So it's all cleaned up now, and at some point I'll fence it in like they have the other, you know, but I'd like to get it annexed first, you know, before we do that.
Is this a business?
Yes, Allied Air.
And what's in the mobile home next to it? Is there-
Next to it, that's Monty, I forgot his last name.
Is that a residential?
It's a residential, yeah, Monty, and he's fine with it. He's a nice guy. He has no problem. I just can't remember his last name, but no, he lives right next door. I think there's a couple of places across the street, and that's the only residential around there.
The city has received no objections whatsoever from anyone.
We went by and looked and kind of see
Yeah,
the layout.
I wish you'd seen it before. It was awful. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I find it's the other way around, that a city is asking the property owner that they wanna annex them, so you're voluntarily wanting.
Yeah, I mean, I would be tickled if they would ask me, but, and it was the previous, I don't know if it's the previous owner that I bought from or the one before him, that for whatever reason annexed those streets. And then, of course, I have 2 lots on Reese Street, the next block over, and there are 2 or 3 places on that street that are in the city, that there's also county as well, so I don't know how or why that happened, but it did. So, but no, I get my water, sewer, everything from the city, and where I'm at now, so.
And I'm sure you've already looked at that there's gonna be a couple of extra dollars or so for city taxes, I guess, or,
I did,
right?
I mean, if I had it to do over again, I'd rather it all be in the county, it would just be easier, but I'm told you can't do, you can't go back once it's annexed, you know, so. But yeah, I'd be fine being in the city. I'm there now anyway, it's just adding one lot to it, so.
If anybody else here has questions for Mr. Wright?
It shows that you're gonna do a proposed storage building. Do you have any, I mean, is that way in the future? or-
Well, it kinda depends, I mean, you know, it kinda depends on cost, you know, if I can afford it, it'll be sooner rather than later, but, you know, there's a fair amount of expense just getting it in, and, you know, getting through all the hurdles to get to that point, but, I would say if I'm gonna do it, I would probably do it within the next year or two, you know.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is there anybody else here that wanted to speak on this? You're welcome.
Yes. Thomas Brown, 7436 Candlelight Court. I mainly want to ask if anybody got the email that Joe Public had promised at the last meeting about all the changes that he was going to recommend to city ordinances.
That's not
That's-
subject to this matter, is it?
That might have been, was that a city council meeting, or,
No, it was planning and zoning.
I'm not,
He's talking about a different subject altogether, Mr. Stout. We're talking about the annexation right now.
right.
And that's all you're speaking of tonight?
No, just at the moment.
Oh, at this moment.
Right, we're
Okay, I thought the
discussing,
meeting started at
Okay.
7:30.
Yes, but
it's quite all right.
give us just a few minutes, because this probably won't take
All
long.
right.
and-
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I was early.
Is there anybody else who want to talk about the annex of the Wright property? No? Okay, you guys got any questions or concerns?
I think it's a win-win situation myself. He's willing to come into the city. We've got those little lots in that area that, you know, scattered, that some are county, some are city. It'd be nice if they were all city, and so we could unified service. So I applaud him for coming in the city and think we ought to just welcome him with open arms.
Business friendly.
Right.
All right, I make a motion to approve his request for annexation.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, well, so I guess we're just making a recommendation to the city council? Okay.
So pretty much unanimous then.
All in favor, aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome in.
Mhm.
The city. Your tax bill's coming.
Well,
Wanna make
the-
sure what is that?
Those other places might have annexed in because I think our utilities are usually a little cheaper earlier. That's what I would think.
What was again, you were gonna talk about the city?
About the March 30th, 2016 meeting.
Okay. Does anybody else here know about, in particular ways?
I remember the meeting. I don't have the minutes in front of me, so I couldn't speak to the particulars of it, but I do remember the meeting.
Well, it's approximately about, what's the topic?
Topic it had to do, if I remember right, it was dealing with fence heights
Oh, okay.
and fence issues, and we were talking about trying to make some changes to the ordinances to make it a little more
Right.
understandable. We had some issues with some of the ambiguity of the language. All this was happening. That fence issue, it just kind of boiled up, and we were trying to hammer through, let's get things settled so that everyone knows what they're up against. I believe that lady came in, who's now on the city council. She came in with her fence issue. She had to reduce the size of her fence right next to her hot tub area, and it didn't make her very happy. And she felt like there were issues, and there are issues with fence heights in some areas making sense. So we were hammering through some of that, and Mr. Public was to have gotten together some points to, we couldn't discuss it with each other, we can't email each other about it, so he was gonna be getting us some ideas that we could answer back to him on. And I've not heard anything back since that point.
All right, yeah, why don't you come up and tell us what's on your mind?
Let me give you each a copy of what I was going to say. Yeah, Attorney Public thought that it was kind of foolish to have different rules and regulations for an aesthetically pleasing body of water. There was one set of rules for if it was dug, and there was another set of rules for if it was naturally formed. And, you know, that was my main argument.
Mr.
that,
Brown, Mr. Brown, I have to have one for the record, sir.
Here's an extra one here.
Thank you, Mr. Sal.
Yeah, I pointed out at that meeting that city ordinance will not allow you to obstruct the view of a natural lake or a man-dug canal. If you dig a canal, you can't obstruct the view of it. But if you dig a lake, you can obstruct the view of it. I mean, they're both man-dug bodies of water made to look natural, and they have different rules. So Joe Public agreed there was something wrong there, and he was going to give each member an email of his suggestions of changes to the city ordinances. And if no one got that,
I don't think he would email us. I mean, we'd probably have
well,
another meeting.
if you
about
have a
it.
recording of that meeting or you have the minutes of it,
Yeah, he was going to get back with us.
yeah,
but
he was
to-
going
I
to,
don't think he would get back to us by email, though.
he said, I
He said
will email each of
Yeah.
you a list
Okay,
of my
okay.
suggestions.
Okay.
So I
didn't
requested
get it.
of Tammy to have a list of that recommendations when they were available. And Tammy said they're not available at this time.
But I
That
think,
was probably April or May of last year.
I think in the meantime, with Mr. Public moving on up into judiciary and out of practice,
I think he knew he was leaving, and he
you
was
know, I
making
don't think
promises
we're-
he couldn't keep.
I don't think we're gonna be seeing anything from Mr. Public on this matter.
Yeah. But if you would review that March 30th, 2016 meeting, there was a lot of important things discussed.
I don't know that we as a board can initiate action. I think probably you would have to bring this to the city council, have them initiate action. We're not able to do that, I don't believe.
Well, who is it that recommends changes to city ordinances? City council doesn't.
Yes, sir.
I think any number of people can. What I'm saying is I don't think we as a planning and zoning board can really necessarily set our own agenda to have something like that happen. I think it needs to come from a request of a city council member or city council as a whole, or maybe the city
I'll
manager.
try it at the city council meeting.
Excuse me?
I'll try that at the city council
Well,
meeting.
you know, it's a matter of, yeah, you get your thoughts together, and I don't know, city manager here could probably assist you in directing viable attention in the right direction.
Yeah, it just seems ludicrous that if you dig a canal, you can't obstruct the view. If you dig a lake, you can obstruct the view. That seems so contradictory.
So we just make it a really wide canal, which you do.
A round canal.
Yeah.
It seemed like from what I remember, I guess it's unfinished business, this whole fence thing. And we were in
Yeah.
the process of just trying to
We
make
were.
our recommendations.
And nothing's come of it. I'd love to see the issue solved, resolved, and brought to a head. It tickled me to see the fence ordinance finally get settled so I can build me a fence. At one time, I had a building official tell me that I didn't need a permit for a gate. I could make my gate as large as I want. So I told him I'm gonna build a series of gates around my property.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Just hook your gates together.
I'm still considering that, Mr. Building Official, is, I don't need a permit, nor do I have to worry about the height of the gate. We'll talk. So I'm gonna build a series of gates, that'll all open.
All right, I'll address my issues to the next city council meeting.
That'd be,
Thank you.
All right,
Good luck.
thank you.
There were some serious things that needed to be settled with that
there are, and
and updated, because it was
Manager, how do we
really,
get that back on the agenda? How do we get that back action to go?
If I might, I'll forward the information from this meeting to city council and alert them to the issues that you're discussing. And we'll see if we can get back up before the planning and zoning, but essentially what will occur now is when Mr. Brown brings his issue to city council, which is a legislative body, they'll determine the merits of moving forward with it, and if they wish, they'll bring it back to staff. Staff will take a look at the issue, come up with some recommendations, and come back to city council for their purview. And city council will decide where to go. And between here and there, you should be kept in the loop as to planning and zoning.
Well, we did have quite a bit of discussion going at that time. It would be nice to see some of that, as Mr. Brown indicated, come to fruition.
That among the about 15 other issues that you have your hands on, we're just beginning to address, and that's why we have a building official now, and we're moving in that direction.
Very good.
do we not have a city manager? Do we have a city manager, city attorney?
Yeah, we have a city attorney named of Jim Matthews.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
Our
But-
permanent city attorney.
So
Pardon me?
public is no,
No,
He's a
Mr.
judge.
Pollack is
Yeah.
now Judge Pollack.
Yeah.
He is no longer.
You gotta sit up and straighten and talk,
Yeah.
talk his
Yeah,
name.
so
Right.
He's the judge, and the day he left city service, everything that,
he was working on stopped.
was stopped dead or moved over to the current city attorney, Mr. Matthew.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, attorneys have varying views, and they may have different opinions, but at that point in time, we'll bring it to council, and council will tell us what they would like to do.
Sounds good?
Is there any other planning or zoning board business to take care of? Is there a motion to
Motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn.
second?
I'll vote yes.
You vote yes, okay.